Morning, John.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Good morning,
Good
Dan and
morning,
Sandra.
Sandra. We're a bit into the evening, I think all three of us, but it's the morning maker show. So we have the tradition to say good morning
Yeah, I was
regardless of the
surprised
time.
when I got this. Yeah, I was surprised the calendar invite came for this time. So, do you always do this,
We always
I
or is
do
the
it
first time you get the
regardless.
night?
We always do regardless of the time. So we had one that was supposed to be very late and one in the afternoon, 6 p.m. doesn't matter. We say good morning. That's the show tradition because it
It's
is morning
perfect. It's
somewhere.
perfect.
It is, yeah.
That's
exactly.
where
It's
I
morning
start my
somewhere.
my morning. Yeah,
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. John, you are pretty
I'm
much a
happy
legend.
to be here.
24 products, $2 million in yearly recurring revenue, 130,000 users. Just one of your products, Unicorn Platform, does more than 25,000 in monthly recurring revenue. This is pretty crazy. How'd you pull this off, John? How did you get here?
I worked for 20 years until this happened. But honestly, I worked a lot with startups like since I was 15 years old, and most of this time was VC backed scene where I raised money. I go to incubators, and then I hired a lot of people. Went to conferences. I bragged about my headcount, and I raised more investor money later, and then the cycle repeats all the time. I found that boring, that I was so far from actual users and their love. I felt like I want to hear that directly from users, not from journalists, but from the
Mm.
users. And then just by accident, one day I discovered Build in Public a few years ago. I scrolled that feed for like 10 hours because it was so good. I just went into the whole inception of every product I found, like what were they posting from day one to day, 500. And I thought it's so cool. Like they did exactly the things I love doing, and they're not ashamed of it. They were
Mm.
bragging about things like few people or no people, and I'm like, it's cool. I love to have no expenses. Like the less people, the better margins, and easier to run. So that's how I end up here. I built one product every month, sometimes every quarter, and I keep adding more and more. They end up generating revenue, and then that sums up. So it looks kind of easy from the side, but it was really hard because I'm in a point in life where now I work so much with this stuff that my intuition is so sharp. Like I know the coming trends. I know what to spot and what's important. What's something nobody else knows. But it took
Mm.
me many years to develop that intuition. So that's why some of my advice is usually uh, is difficult to apply unless you spend decade doing the same thing.
Mm.
But overall, I think I'm not really far in my journey. I'm just starting. I started a year and a half ago, and I have pretty big goals. Not with
Yeah.
the revenue, so I'm not that interested in money. I'm more interested in actually making the bootstrap scene into a real player in the SaaS world, because now it's tiny. It's like less than 1% actually. Like we are very small, but I
I
know
mean,
I
you are
have a idea.
I mean, you are coming from totally different scene, like startup scene, so you can definitely say it's like 1% of these guys, and they are doing a brilliant job. But I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, you know, you already told us so much, and I had this really funny question that I wanted to know, like, where is the passion from this? And then continuous on that question is like, were you the guy in front of the school selling the lemonade? But because it sounds like that you just grow on a bigger
Uh,
scale from that.
yeah. That's true. That's me. So
It's
yeah,
true.
I'm a typical guy. I'm a typical guy. I started selling stuff in school when I was 7 years old. So I was selling paper toys I would make because I had a magazine with the schema. I would just build them, and that was something I did in school all the time. So I started buying my own things when I was 10 years old. So from 10 years old and until now, I don't think I really asked for money from my parents. Well, now I don't ask it, but when I was 15 or something, and I never asked. Uh, and I was kind of lucky that my parents were doing the same, so I didn't know the other option. I thought that's what everybody's doing. I didn't know that you can be employed. Like, I'm not kidding. I didn't know that people can be employed until I was maybe like 15 or 16. I thought everybody I meet anywhere owns the place. I thought I go to the shop, they own the shop. I go like the bus driver owns the bus. I was sure. Like,
And then you
what
had
else?
to employ people, huh?
Yeah, but I never enjoy employing people. For some reason, I just
Mm,
don't enjoy that, and that's the key reason. I never told that, but the key reason I left VC scene is that you have to employ a lot of people there. You have to create
mm,
layers and structures there because that's what everybody does, and the investors expect that from you. And I don't like that because I feel like when you employ someone, uh, you you're taking some freedom away, and some people think it's kind of that's what everybody else does. But I think the old world where almost every family was doing something like shoes or producing milk or something, I think that was a good world, and I think I want to do something to get closer back to that world that people actually directly produce something because it's so uplifting to get a feedback from someone who says you're great, thanks for the thing you're doing. When the boss says that, he's just being smart boss, like great, of course he says that so you don't leave, but he doesn't care about you. He doesn't remember your name if it's a big organization, right? He has to look at the notes. Okay, this is
He
done.
just wants
But
to get the bonus, right? That's it.
yeah, exactly. But here, people actually love what you do, especially like Booster World, where I saw that first. And I feel so good. Like you say, where is the passion coming from this. Like I had never had more passion for stuff than I have these 2 years, just because people say good things about products I built. People send me screenshots about the traffic growing or whatever, like real facts, and I really like that. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and I do it again.
Okay, okay. We need to stop for a second and go back all the way to 2023 when you only had 72 followers. You need to tell us all and how did you do it and what were the key strategies.
Yeah.
Like list it all so I can write a blog as well. This is what John said how to do it.
Oh, I missed half of your question because it lagged, but I think you asked how I got here from 72 followers.
Yes.
Is that a question?
Okay.
All right, good. So I never used Twitter in my life, like really, and I didn't like it. And in VC funded world, social media is not the way to grow. It became that now because things are changing. But back then, nobody had followers in the internet except the influencers and
Mm,
bootstrappers. That's why I never needed that. I didn't know people do that. But then I saw what others do. I saw Peter Levels, I saw Mark Liu, and other guys, and I saw that they have a lot of followers, and they ask questions, people answer. They post two options for the logo, people vote for that. I really like that instant connection to the people where you can
mm,
ask thing and get feedback right away, because that's really important. If you want to build cool stuff, you need quick feedback. And I set a goal for myself that I have to build up the following, just because I wanted to have direct connection, real time connection with the people. And I started. What I did was pretty obvious, so I just tried to do what others do. I just looked at people with a lot of followers. I scrolled far back to their old posts, and there's filter on Twitter. You can do that. You don't have to scroll, by the way. I found their old stuff. I saw what they were posting. Yeah, there's filter, and it was
thank you.
obvious. Yeah, it was obvious what they were doing. It was not easy, not difficult to repeat. That helped me to get to maybe 2000. But then at that point, you have to become yourself. So you had to do something that's interesting about you rather than about the thing you write, because that's many people get that wrong. They think that to grow on Twitter you have to have cool posts with millions of views, but if you make funny joke, nobody cares that you made the joke. Or if you say a bad thing about Google, it goes viral, people start hating Google under that replies, but you don't get the followers. Or if you get followers, you get the wrong guys like who also like hating stuff. So just don't do the stuff that you don't want to get back. So whatever you post, you get people who are kind of that kind of people, right? And that's why I thought like, who I want to have in my followers. I want to have founders who care about stuff, who care about users, and I started posting stuff that's interesting for them and that stuff they would post too, so that we kind of see that we're the same. Like so people follow other people because they think that they're similar. That's the reason people
Yeah.
follow other people. Like we like others who look like us.
This is so, but you wrote that actually that not every follower kind of counts, and especially
Yeah.
for B2B founders. But my question to that is like, because you want essentially to filter your audience and you kind of want to attract them to yourself and who you are as a person, but also in the same time, you want to kind of bring them closer to your product. So like what is the right approach when you are kind of targeting these people but trying in the same time to stay yourself, especially if you take a look at, let's say, indie community. Sometimes this works and it works brilliantly, especially when the product is kind of indie or made for indie people. But what it goes out of that circle, like
That's
how
a
to
good
make
question.
sure.
Yeah, if you're in B2B world, it's difficult to go out of the circle from day one. You don't have to. Like the indie people are not special type of people. They run all sort of businesses. Somebody running a coffee shop is also kind of part of the community. It's not only SaaS makers, it's everybody there. I met people running a cinema there for my cinema business even. I was like shocked, but there are people like that. So what I would say is that if you're in B2B, you should not worry too much about the people outside of the bubble. Why? Because if you make great product for this bubble, for the indie makers are normal people, and if they like this, it means you build a good product. If you build a good product, users will actually come. Nobody says that. People say that's stupid to say that, but it's
Build
not
it and they
true.
will come.
Build it and they will come doesn't work. Build a good product and they will come works. Can you build a good product yourself? Never. You have to, others have to say it's good. If others say it's good, then others coming outside of the network because they have friends outside of their own network too, right?
Do you think that building on X, building in public, helps you build a better product or a worse one? What's your relationship with this? I have a follow up after you answer because I think you spend a lot of time on this. But tell me first if you think this helps or doesn't help build the product.
I'm convinced that it helps because you shorten the cycle. And the only way to build great product is to shorten the cycle. There are multiple ways to do that. One way is to find other audience, become influencer in there, and shorter cycle that way. So and B2B is universal, so the indie maker audience can consume anything from B2B. Some products are relevant for everyone, some only for some, right? But still you will find people there. That's why I'm sure you build a better product, because indie makers are pretty rough on their feedback because they know how things are built. They are not that nice. Like even if they're nice in public replies, my DMs are not as nice as public replies. I get people screaming at me in the mornings when things don't work the way they should. And there's no shortage of that. There's no shortage. Once you go outside, but you have to go outside of your friend group. Like, maybe
Exactly.
Outside of
what
your
you meant
bubble,
is
yeah.
this. Yeah, so you maybe meant this. Definitely, like, do not see your friends as your users and customers. I even said that in my posts that you should never be careful with treating the feedback. For example, feedback from free users is bad for you. Feedback from friends is bad for you. And feedback from people who you ask for feedback is also bad, because if you ask somebody before feedback, they become like a professor. They start telling things they would never tell you otherwise, and it doesn't help. Feedback is only good when it's from somebody who is quite far away from you, from your like friend circle, and comes up with feedback on their own. You don't ask them for feedback.
Just a quick question. I had a interesting discussion yesterday about how to ask for the feedback. So it would be interesting to hear from you, what is that right question when you start asking for a feedback? Because we were discussing about one book, and it's the way you ask and who you ask. So my question now is like, do you start with the problem? So you are assuring that a user has that problem, so he's prepared for the product you are already giving to him, because then the perspective is totally different. So my
Changing.
question is like,
Yeah.
how to ask that right question when you are asking for the feedback?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I have answered that's going to sound strange, but that's what I do. So I never ask for feedback, not a single time in my life, like never. And the thing I do instead is that I create a channel between us so that you feel comfortable asking, not asking, but giving the feedback. An example for that: most of my products, you probably noticed, don't have public sign up page. It's not because I don't know how to build sign up page. It's because I want people to come to my Twitter, to my DMs, and say, "Can you invite me?" I give them invite. And now, if something goes wrong or if they have feedback, we have this channel, and I give them some other tips or whatever. So I create this little conversation,
You did
and
this to me.
yes, I did it to everyone. And then people feel like it's okay to ask him. It's okay to give him feedback, because most people don't give you feedback because, maybe you're gonna say fuck off. Like, why are you telling me? I know better than you. That's what people think, in fact, because most people maybe say that to them. Maybe they tried. There's some trauma there. That's why I don't ask for feedback. I make a channel that people can use, and they use. I don't think there's anyone who didn't give me feedback. Like, almost everyone eventually gives me feedback. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in a month, maybe in a year, but it comes. Right? And that's why, like, few people do that. Why I don't ask? Because I think when you ask, it's not natural, position. Like, the person at that moment is not using your tool. Your tool isn't that important. That person even remembers exactly what happened when the tool was used, right? So a person tries to be smart and tries to give you feedback that sounds smart, and you go to the wrong direction with that feedback because user gave it to you.
Right,
Yeah.
you see this a lot. Yeah, you see a very huge wall of text of feedback that is trying to be clever because you've asked for it and you don't want to look like
Exactly.
you haven't put any effort into this. I mean, okay,
You
the
want to
guy
sound
asked
smart.
me. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that's one thing, but the other thing is that again, the cycle. I have people in my DMs and they don't know, but they're part of my product team. Like, every day I talk to at least 100 people about the features, and it's not
Wait a
like I
second.
ask
Wait a
them.
second. Stop right there. You personally talk to 100 people every
Yes,
day.
every day, every user of almost
That's
all
insane.
products go through
That's
me.
insane. So well, that was my next thing that I wanted to know. You seem like you've spent 8 hours a day on X, and not as a entertainment, but as a platform to grow your business. How does that affect you and the way you work? How does it affect the way you think, even? Because
Yeah,
it must change something, and it needs change for you to be able to answer to 100 people and to
yeah.
also produce this insane content that you've been doing.
So I use system that's also different from what others use, right? So I have to You know,
I'm gonna
reveal
write so
things.
many blogs about this.
Pull out the system. We want to see the system, John. Pull it out.
Yeah,
Draw it.
it's
Draw
all
it.
the first part of the system. It's all in my head, so I use no notes, no diagrams, nothing, because I can pull information from my head instantly, and it takes time to find it on the computer. I'm not criticizing Clue, which is amazing for most people, but not for me. Like, I have Clue
Sponsor
in
of
my
the
head.
show.
Yeah, I have that in my head. So if you need a face for Clue, like, you can put my face there, because that's what's happening in my head.
You could
Brain,
be on
maybe
the
brain.
landing page. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I do. Number one thing, I believe that the quality of your product is quality of decisions, and you make hundred of decisions every day. And people think about decisions like important decisions, but in fact, the non-important decisions are important. The small decisions are important, more important than people think. And what I do in Twitter, I try to work in a way that I can combine and pull in all the people in my DMs into the work I'm doing with the features, with the decisions. That's why it's not like it's two different things. I'm not talking about the weather with them. So it's often what I'm doing right today is the topic of my chats on Twitter. Often other things come in, but there I'm less involved and I'm more involved where it's relevant to the work I do right now. And I use the moment to not ask questions, but rather I use the strategy of sharing what I do and letting people come with the feedback if they want. I'm not asking for feedback, but I share, and people are like, oh, wait, really? And they say something, and that's natural. I never ask them. Sometimes they say nothing, and then it's also natural. So that's why I have no, time for that, time for this, or a clock that I run. No, it's just I'm working. Like, my main day is I'm working. Then I have Twitter tab, and I'm being distracted by Twitter tab the whole day, and I learned to be productive with that by using the whole Twitter thing as a cycling my ideas back to the work I'm doing right now.
So, how do you have the Twitter tab open and focus on any complex task? Because that's my
That's
problem.
hard. That's
Yeah.
hard. I had this tweet recently where I complained about this. I said that I'm at a point where I can't focus on complex tasks. But I realized that actually the problem was YouTube, not Twitter. So YouTube was my problem. I removed YouTube and problem disappeared because
So
YouTube
you
is
were
pure
watching
procrastination.
YouTube as you were working.
Yeah, exactly. But YouTube, there are no people there. You're watching content, right? Uh, and you can't use it. Like, you can learn something, but often you end up watching something you're not using right now.
Well, we're live on YouTube, so people can learn plenty if they find this live stream. Yeah, but yeah, I know a lot of people that do that. That have they always need to have something in the background. It's a very strange. I'm not sure if it's because it's a human need because we're feeling alone somehow and we want, something. I don't know. Why do you think we crave that?
I think we crave what's easier. So one thing that's not intuitive for people, and my maybe best advice I can give that nobody else is giving, don't do things that you like doing. I mean, it's strange advice, but if you like doing something, it means that it's not good for you. Very often, it's like with food, right? You like eating burgers,
I see
and
the
it's probably bad
reference.
for you. Eat the
Thanks.
broccoli, right? And it's not always the case. You have to do some things that you like, but you have to do the smaller things you do. You don't have to like. You have to like the bigger things. That's kind of the recipe for success. Like, the long-term goals have to fulfill your life and give you joy, and short-term actions should be painful. That's it. Like a football player has painful life 99% of the day, and the only time they are having fun is when they win, if they win.
Is that the reason why you went from a startup world to a bootstrap world?
Yeah, because it's full of pain, but true. VC world is full of joy, because the only thing we most people do there. They drink, have fun, go to conferences, have people asking for interviews, like all the good things. And all the bad things all happen just once when you shut down the company, because like now, if I lose a user, my heart hurts. I have channel where it sends me every consult subscription, and it's painful. But in the VC world, you don't care. You care about VC round, which happens once every 2 years or a year. So if you don't raise, it's a pain just once.
I mean, Clue is a VC-backed company, so hearing all of this is very hard. Very true, very
Oh,
hard.
well, I still have
Um,
VC-backed startups in my
yeah,
portfolio, so
okay,
I'm still part of
yeah.
the world pretty
So, I
deeply.
mean,
It's just I
tell
don't
me
talk
what's gonna
about that.
happen with us? What's the future looking for startups?
Uh,
You
well,
know,
I think
you wrote that just because of lack of funding, we are like shutting down and etc. I mean, like, if the change is gonna happen, like, for me, you know, it's very true. Once you get like when you decide to raise money, I think many people go into that direction, not actually knowing why they're raising, if that makes sense, and the money burns much faster. But what do you think, like, what is the future then for the VC money and VC world? Is it possible that, bootstrap companies will be ideal situation for being for raising money, or that we're gonna end up with this pre-seed and seed rounds? There's gonna actually be potential in companies. Like, I want to hear more about that.
yeah, I have two answers. So one answer is that we gonna see the VC world shift from pre-seed, seed, and incubation onto companies with traction and revenue. We see that today. We see it today, and in years from now, most bootstrappers will have raised money. Like they will raise
Exactly.
money
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
successful, and many will not say no to that, because once you're a successful bootstrapper, raising VC money will not hurt you as much as it hurts at the beginning. So it will be just a liquidity event. You can just take out cash and buy a house, for example, and you can delegate more because bootstrappers tend to delegate nothing, and you can't go on that way forever. That's one thing that I'm seeing. It's not I'm thinking, I'm seeing that because I have a lot of data, I have a lot of people, and I follow the funds, and I have people reaching out to me, VC funds, and like if you read my Twitter, it's clear I'm not raising money, right? But the number of VCs reaching out to me is higher than I ever had. And when they reach out, they say we are bootstrap friendly. We are not
Oh,
taking
that's
the
a new
board
term.
seat. We don't even create a board for you. Like you don't have to have a board. Yeah, exactly. So and this is happening today. Like really, I don't have to raise because it's just I don't need the money today because I don't use money for growth. And if you don't use it for growth, why do you need the money? Because building is cheap now. But the other thing is that I think we are seeing a big change in what startup is. So in old days, startups were around products. So the product was the startup. And even bootstrappers in old days were around products. You would remember someone because they're doing the product. Today, the founder is the product and the company is a product. What that means is that it's not important what you are doing anymore. It's important if you have built the machine that can produce stuff that's relevant, because the time is moving so fast that the product you came in with might be not interesting for the market a year after. And what do you do then? Do
Yeah.
you close down the company, or do you stop being a founder, or you pivot or you start new stuff? And in old days, it was impossible to imagine that this VC founded startup would close down the product and start new product. You can't even imagine that. There were like 5 stores in total, maybe, right? Today, that will be the norm. The startups are being not shamed for that, and founders today, like they're the machines that can produce stuff. So I relate really well to what Elon Musk does with Gigafactory, where he's not building a car, he's building a product is the factory. The factory is something that he's building that can produce anything, all the cars, and now it can produce the humanoid robots, and maybe the robot will be the trillion thing for them, and maybe the next thing, maybe the bees or anything like that. And I think that's the big change. That's the big change that NVCs see that, and I see activity in that front where people will be investing in people. Like VCs will invest in Don and not in his particular product, and he can build anything because he doesn't have to be restricted with just one product that was good yesterday but maybe not good today.
I fully agree, but at one moment, John, firstly, want to welcome you to the Morning Maker show, and you said one interesting thing. You said bugs, and I think I felt something like a bug, and I think, oh, oh,
What? Are you okay? What happened, Sandra? What's going
oh
on?
my God,
I
I
see
think it's
one.
a
I see
bug.
one on
It's a
your
very
Oh,
big bug.
shoulder.
oh, what? I need, oh, yes, oh,
What?
it is
What
an
did you use there? What did you use there?
the bugs goes away with
You
Sentry
fixed it. You
spray.
fixed it.
You fixed the error with this. Oh, I think I used this this morning and fixed a couple bugs myself. Hey, Sandra, is this the first time you used the Sentry spray? And how hard was it to use it? Was it an easy setup?
I have to
Where else
tell
can
you
you
that
kill with it? Can you
the
kill
bug,
competitors with it? Only bugs. Okay.
bugs, animal, it depends. Like it can be a huge bug, a small bug, annoying bug, any type of the bug. With a Sentry spray, bugs go
Yeah.
away.
Did you invent that? I like that.
No, I mean, we did in the metro 15 minutes ago.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So,
Well, thank you, Sandra, for this. It's very nice.
I literally use Sentry today, by the way. I have
Oh, you
Sentry
do,
running
you
for all my
do.
products. Yeah,
oh,
and I use it in a very cool way. Others don't use it that way, I'm sure. Uh, Sentry sends Discord messages with all the errors into the channel where I work on products with the developer, and that's why you can't ignore it. You're just chatting about stuff. It's suddenly boofs. The error comes in right in the chat in the middle of your message.
It's no
No,
one's gonna believe, no one's gonna believe that we didn't set this up. It's just everyone's gonna be, yeah, these guys, they talked with John before, they like have this whole thing arranged. It's too good to be true. But yeah, sorry, go
I'm
on, go
using
on.
Sentry for 10 years, so I'm a big fan.
Oh my
wow.
god. Oh my god.
I mean, your ad was so much better than mine.
Wow, wow. Okay. Well, what can you say to this? I think I think it's pretty much explains it. I use Sentry. I've used it in a couple products before, and I've just installed it this year on mine for some reason. I don't know why. I thought it's an enterprise product. So for a long time, I thought, well, I don't think I need this. And then I put it on my product. And it was the best decision I did this year, I think, because not only that I find some really ridiculous issues, like, it's a one liner kind of, you've misspelled something, but also I feel a lot more comfortable now when I make a release. I'm like, yeah, if something's gonna go wrong, I'm gonna get that email. So, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Like sometimes I forget to put Sentry, not the Sentry itself, but the webhook to Discord. And whenever that happens, I miss the bugs, and the bugs come from the users. That's real, like it happens, and I feel so stupid because if I had Sentry, bug would still happen, but I would know it before the user knows. And then when the user writes me, I would say, "Yeah, I know about the bug. We have fixed it. The update is coming in 1 hour." And people like that. That's the thing. Like bugs are good if you kill them in front of the
That,
user,
yeah,
like smash
exactly.
them right in front.
I don't believe like this is not
Yeah.
scripted, everyone, but it's it's perfect. It's exactly the best part about it is that your reaction speed will seem like you are ahead of everyone else. So when you get that support email, someone saying, "Oh, I had this issue 5 minutes ago, and you can answer, well, it's a fix is already on the way. Just that's what it could do. So haven't prepared this part, but I'm really happy that you said it, John, because that happened to me a couple times only, but it's the best feeling in the world when it does.
I had a friend who was really good at startups, so he taught me a lot. He was an old Danish guy, and he said, like, it's stupid to make your product perfect because you have to create a reason for people to message you. And I'm going to
That's
reveal
nice.
something nasty, but every product that I have, every landing page I have, has spelling mistakes. All of them.
I do the
And
same thing, just I don't do
yeah.
it intentionally.
All right. So you're smart by accident, right? On this thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
This
Yeah.
just came in, so apparently the Sentry spray is online. You can you can just sign up for this. So yeah, it's endorsed by Mark Liu. Apparently, he didn't know he likes it until he made a T-shirt with it, and then he just fell in love with Sentry. So
I I loved his t-shirt. He should actually do it exactly the way he presented, like with that, with the handmade. That's an idea. Like Mark, if you're listening, handmade logos on the t-shirt, people will buy that. That's like
I
you're famous,
think
so people.
also if Sentry is listening, they should remake Mark's T-shirt and actually put it in their Sentry shop for sale. I think
Yeah,
that would do great.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
will.
That would be huge. But you were mentioning the spelling mistakes, and you do it intentionally.
I do it
So
intentionally
yeah.
because that creates reason for people to tell me, "Hey, I found this error," and I I I don't create bugs intentionally, but I am not afraid of having them because they bring people into your chat. They show the people the way you respond. You earn their trust on the way you deal with their problem. They like you for that, and they think that this is someone I want to work with. If I have problem in the future, I know they reply, I know how they reply, I know how they react on the problem, and then they feel comfortable. And now if they have feedback or they want new feature, they will just message you with no problem, and that's what I want. But I don't create bugs intentionally. I'm just not having huge routine to actually not have them in place.
Yeah, now I feel like we're gonna send a message to community: the more bugs, the better.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid. Like people, I send people a message. Like somebody messages me with something, like, and I tell, "What's your product?" Because some makers don't have their product in their portfolio. Like you have to put it there. Like that's the minimum we have to do, right? And they're like, "I'm doing that," and he sends me the link, and I'm asking him like, "Why isn't the link on your portfolio or on your bio?" He's like, "Because it's not done yet, but you can try it." I'm like, if I can try it, everybody has to try it. It doesn't matter that
Yeah,
it's not ready
yeah,
yet. Like it doesn't matter. There are more people. Like some people will try it, will not work. There are new people being born every day, so they come into the scene and they try now. So don't be afraid
but is
to
that
launch, early versions. Just do that.
but wanted to ask you, you're someone who's saying that building in niche markets it's really good, and I fully agree with you on that. But at which stage, or you know, we all dream of these big growth numbers and going wild and crazy. But can we do that in the niche markets, or do you actually build, or the key is to build upon the product at certain stage? Like, how do you see that?
I see that as the only way to actually build stuff because everything else is a lottery. So if you're building for a large market, your odds of success are so low that you can just play on the gambling market. It will be the same. And
You're
those
just
who
laughing
win,
us
well,
today.
survival bias. Like some people won, of course, but let's collect in the room everybody who has lost. There is no space in this room for those people now, not even in this city. So I think the more niche you go, the better, and you have to cut it from all the sides you can. It has to be, one problem, one specific type of problem within that problem, special type of the company that has that problem. Is it a team or is it solo founder, and what's their age. Like you have to narrow down as much as you can. And if that means that your whole market is million a year, let's say that what it means, because there are no markets lower than 1 million a year if you look the whole world, right? It's always minimum that, even for a super small thing. But but you're gonna be winning that market maybe 50 to 100%. So it's not as bad now, because when you look at the market from the VC kind of world, you have this uh, funnel. The market size is 100,
Yeah.
and my size of that market is one, because like that's realistic,
And I have
1%.
no channel of distribution. I have
Yeah,
no idea how to go to the market, but I know the size of the market.
and you compete with 1,000 other people doing the same thing,
Yeah.
because the more wide you go, the wider you go, the more people are competing doing the same thing, and a lot of them are backed with a lot of money, and throw the money on the ads and everything, so you can't even do the marketing properly there, because everything is paid. Even SEO is really hard in that kind of niche, because they do SEO as well, everybody else. And if you're great at SEO, but others are great too, then nobody's winning. You're all losing, actually. But is it possible to win on a niche market and grow your audience and grow your market? Of course, it's possible, because market, you narrow down the market by not by accident but by purpose. You picked only individuals, for example. All right, add team features, add collaboration features, add permissions. Now you serve the teams too, right? But you use the first group as your ambassadors, word of mouth, and some of them get hired into companies which are large, and they bring in the thing with them, right? So is it hard to grow such product? It's not that hard. It's much harder to get to win the niche, but the rest is not that hard. And if you look at the most successful products, it's very often their story. It's very often that they started with very small thing. Like Facebook started in one campus, and
John, do you consider unicorn platform to be a niche product? Because looking at
oh,
your
of course,
stats, is it still a niche product? And will it
not
always
not
be
not
a niche?
anymore, not
Not
anymore.
anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and obviously the answer is that it was a niche product, and eventually it hit the limit of that niche, and it stopped growing, and nothing would help because that was the size of the market. And now we get out of that, and now it started growing again into the new height. But then I didn't go generic. I'm still niche. I just open up my niche. I just remove filters. Imagine you have 20 filters. You filter, you have just one person left on the earth, right? You remove one filter, you have 20 people. So you just keep removing the filters every year, and you keep eating the market from inside out, from the bottom up.
So, was it part of the success to build other niche products that sort of linked back to it, built it up, the directory sites, and so on? Was this your strategy, and you always had your eyes on unicorn platform, or were they built independently? Like, what's your vision with this, or is this the vision of Mars X perhaps?
It is all connected. So nothing I do is disconnected. So some people think that I'm throwing shit to the wall and see what sticks. It's not what I'm doing. So it has a big vision, and the big vision here is to build a set of tools for other builders who are short on time, because that's a specific group of builders who are short on time. Not everybody is short on time. If you have a lot of people in a team, you're not short on time. You can always hire more people to do the work, so you're not caring that much about the time it takes to execute the task. You care only about the quality of execution, right? And in my case, I want to not dominate, but I want to be the most useful tool set for busy founders in the world. And why I want to win this market, why I want to be useful for this group, because I believe that this group will be leading the world farther. So I have my bet that the busy founder world will be the world that will take over the SaaS world in years from now, because they are building their inner personal startup machines, And it doesn't matter that the world is changing, like AI and all those things. It doesn't matter. They're the startup machines now, and they will build new stuff that's relevant for the future world. Nobody cares. It's not going to happen the same with startups because startups are teams. They can't move that fast. So that's my kind of goal. I'm not planning to, uh, look for more niches out of this niche. I'm actually betting on this niche growing so far that it becomes the mainstream, and then I'm powering the mainstream.
It's funny that you say it's for busy founders, but that's what you are. You have to be busy with 24 startups. I mean, I don't imagine you have a lot of spare time to get your thoughts together. Is it like that, or are they pretty much on autopilot right now?
I missed the first part of your question, so you ask whether,
You're a
or
busy
just
founder.
repeat. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
and
Now I
you have.
now I have the question. How do I do this stuff? You mean how? Where's my process?
How do you have time to still think
Yeah,
of the next product when you have 24 already?
yeah. I try to save my time. I try to be the best example of my user. Like there's no busier people than me out there, I guess. And if I please myself, I please everyone else because they are less busy than me, right? So every product I build is built internally, and I run it internally for a long while. I have a lot of stuff running internally now that I just talk about that, but I don't release because once you release, you have the burden of support and uptime and everything, right? That's why I run it for a while that way. And if I see that there's something that takes 10 hours a week from me or 10 hours a month, then that's opportunity for me to swap that to a tool, and now I solved my problem and there's a new tool on the market. So basically my problem is my fuel and the way I come up with all the ideas. If there was no problem, my ideas would be worthless because I would be just guessing what people need. Now,
You said you famously said that I think it's the same guy based on my knowledge anyway, that you only work with people that you feel okay hugging. Is that still true?
yeah, it is still true, and it is something I regret a lot. That sometimes, many times in my life, I valued people's skills over this character, their like personal spirit, the soul, something that I have this connection with. And I saw their IQ, I saw their skills, their abilities, and I felt like, all right, he's not the guy I like, but he's really good at this job. He's like going to solve the problems. And I always failed, like maybe 100 times, at least 100 times. I think more than that, like 300 times I failed with that. I stopped doing that now. Every now and then I have the urge to, do it again. Like I see a maker on Twitter. There's real case. There's one guy on Twitter, and I really want to work with that. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
I really want
I
to
don't
work with the
under.
guy, and then I know that I don't have the connection with the guy. It's not with Mitro. It's the opposite
You
with
have
Mitro.
no
I want to work
connection
with.
with Dimitro. So
One
Dimitro,
moment. I
Di-
thought this chat was protected. No,
yeah,
is
how
it?
did you get in here, man? I
I
think
just
so. So
some
so
public link.
so
You're a
Dimitro,
hacker.
he probably wants to say something because he's a busy founder too. But how many products are you working on right now, Dimitro? Can you tell us?
One product.
All right, I know where it's heading. I know where it's heading.
No,
Where's the
one product.
referee?
I
There
work
are
on
no
the.
rules. There are no rules.
But I think I envy John, and John envies me. I want to run many products,
Which
but I just can't. It's impossible. It's really something that I think I want to do. Yes, maybe a little bit later, but now I don't know.
But
I
why do
have
you
dreams.
envy? Why do you envy? Wait a second.
Just envious person. Why do I envy?
Straightforward.
You know, some days when it gets boring. You know, some days. And if I had, I don't know, maybe 2 products, 3 products, 24 products, maybe I could just switch them and had have some fun. I don't know. Like I don't know
What's
how John is
stopping
doing
you?
all that.
What's stopping you
Ah, from this,
from 24 products?
from 24 product.
Yeah,
What's
not
the
two.
launching of 3 products?
You know that we had Mark Liu just the other day, and he also has exactly 24 products.
That's
And
interesting. I saw it. I thought I cemented the number, but I have to have 25. But I'm launching tomorrow with
exactly,
26.
exactly.
With
But
26.
it seems like this is the magic number we should all aim for. So 24, I don't think they have to all be active, but just 24 in general, and usually the 24th is the one that really really hits it out of the park somehow.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
hot here.
Dimitro, I have
Okay,
one question for you.
I
Besides
just wanted to leave. I
besides
just,
besides the fact that you hacked us and you just barged into this very interesting discussion,
you know, Sentry
w-
didn't notify you.
that's my one question is, do you use Sentry? And why aren't you using it if you don't use Sentry? Please tell me.
Should I answer honestly, or I can just
Just
make
read
up an
what we
answer?
wrote you.
Just check
Oh, okay,
your
okay.
check your Stripe notifications and then answer, please.
1 second. Okay, so Sentry is one of the best logging systems in the world, and I make a huge mistake by not using it. I'm really sorry for it. And what else? Okay.
Perfect. It was perfect. Thank you so much. You
Send me
can.
the money as we
I.
agreed.
It's there. It's wired. It's there. Thank you so much,
Okay, sorry
Dimitro.
guys. Bye bye. Good night.
Cool to
Good
see
night.
you, by the way. First time. See you again.
Let's talk. Let's talk someday.
Yeah.
So, I thought he's going to say such a nice guy. I thought he's going to say actually building one product is fantastic and why are we all building so many, but it was the complete opposite, and now he said
Yeah.
he's envious. So you win.
That's
uh,
We-
that's why he's building one product. So I have an answer why he's building one product. Maybe it's wrong, but I think
yeah,
uh, he is very like the person who cares a lot. Like you can see how empathic person he is, and when you have I know people who have one child because they tell, if I have many children, I can give love to all of them. I can give, education to all of them. And he's that type of person, I think. He wants to give a lot of love to the user. He can't stand bugs. He can't stand, unsolved things. And that's why he thinks that if he has 24 products, he will have a lot of people waiting for a fix, and he can't because he has to do the 25th, right? So I think that's the reason.
yeah,
but
but I actually want to lean back into what we're talking, because I thought it's very interesting with the hugging, because
Hmm.
I think I have like a little bit of a chemistry with you. And I just wanted to ask, would you hug me? Am I a huggable person to you?
Yeah, I think so. Like that's why I like your post. Basically, if I like somebody's post, it means I want to hug the person.
It's an
If I
endorsement.
write a comment, then I want to hug for like 5 seconds, not just 2 seconds.
All
bear in
right.
mind, sorry.
Sorry, Sandra, go ahead. I think I got what I wanted, but do you want to add something?
I just want to say, John is saying this now when you can't see likes anymore.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
True. I actually didn't think about that. No, but you can
Yeah,
see
yeah, I
likes
like
coming
I
to
like
you.
all your posts. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, but you can see likes coming to you. By the way, that's not hidden.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me direct your attention to the screen, John. This is one of my free tools that I've built.
Hmm.
It's called Cron Tool.
I
I don't know
know. I
if you've
saw
seen
it.
it. Yeah, you saw
I
it.
saw it the first day I saw you.
So
That's rich.
it's pretty cool. And since hugging and investing is pretty much the same thing, I have a link in the chat, and you could actually invest in Crontool if you think it's worth it. I will send you the link, and you can buy 1% right now, as
Sure.
we're live.
Whoa.
Do you do you wanna do that? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to have you as an investor in Crontool.
So, how much money is on the table?
I
Uh,
mean, it's 1%. Look at that.
let me change let me change my screen. So I don't know if you got the link. Do you have two options of
Yeah, I
investing?
see. I see.
Yeah,
Invest in Cron tool. I invest again.
yeah, you
I
can
don't want to say.
invest.
Didn't separate it.
So there are two options, and it's a very tricky psychological amount. But while you think about it, I'll explain the two options just so you make the right purchase decision. So if you buy the light version, you get 1%. If you buy the pro version, you also get 1% somehow. The only difference is that the certificate of ownership will be much better on the pro version, like years better. So the graphics, the resolution, the fonts, everything will be,
Can I be on the board? And we have board meetings, the physical board meetings.
board
Every
And
meetings.
in VC world, you come to investors. Like that's the rule. So you have to fly to the investor for the board meeting, not the other way around.
Yeah, for sure. Both plans will have physical board meetings. We will also do occasional calls where I show you pivot charts of various metrics in the
How many
business.
hugs included? How many hugs included?
Unlimited hugs as long as we're in the same location. We could just the hugs are they can keep coming. So, well, I'll leave this offer, but I'm actually refreshing the lemon squeezy. I'm refreshing the email, so here's me hoping that by the end of the show we'll get an investment. No pressure, but I think 1 plus 1, yeah. It adds up. So, all right,
If I
Sandra.
pay 100 times, is it mine? Did I buy it?
Um, you know what? I should have been prepared for that. As a busy founder, I should have
Too
been
late.
prepared for
Too
all
late. Too late.
eventuality.
That
This
that
could
was
have been my
public
exit.
offer.
This could have been
Let
my
me let
exit.
me save this situation, but by asking a next question.
Let's just ignore this situation.
Let's pretend this has never
It's in
happened.
the memory of the internet, so can't be erased.
Anyway, moving on. John, you built Dev Hunt. And I really
Yeah,
want to
with
hear what's
people.
happening, and it would be really fun to hear from you. What is your opinion on Product Hunt right now? What is the most annoying thing
All
about
right.
them? Where the Dev Hunt or in which point is taking over Product Hunt, and we're gonna be happy indie makers forever.
I see. Yeah, I take this problem seriously, very seriously, because I said earlier that I bet my future on success of indie making world, because it also means my success at the end, because I'm supplying the arms to this world that's trying to fight the wars, and I think Brotherhood is a big part of it, and I think they are not becoming a smaller part of this every day. I talk to them. I had a call with their CEO. He's a very nice guy, and he said that the reason he stepped in as manager, because he saw where it's all going. He saw it's going to the wrong direction, and he wanted to fix that. And I don't think I agree on the ways of fixing the problem with him. I will not share what he said, and I will share what I said, but not what he said. So I think that the problem has to be solved by becoming more of a community kind of thing, rather than becoming black box that just kind of spits out the winner. Like no, it's the opposite of what has to be done, because it's a product for the community, and it behaves like the most corporation type product out there, and you don't even know who to tag when you want to tag them, right? Which is not good. There has to be a real face out there that you can talk to and complain to, and the person will get involved into the debates where people complain and tell something. That's the way even big brands do that now. Like today, I was complaining about the Salesforce product, which is Heroku, the database stuff, and they replied immediately, and they had like they helped me, they fixed the problem. I was surprised. This is like huge company, the biggest almost in the world. They have to be closer to the people, much closer. They behave like totalitarian dictatorship. Oh, my tongue, talk too much. And I think they're doing the wrong thing, and I hope they will turn their face to the community, start talking both directions, and get back to the game, because they're losing the game.
They're super arrogant, right? That's my problem, because there was this public post by the CEO, where he essentially said that indie makers need to up their game. That frankly, the quality is not good
Yeah.
enough, except for Mark Liu mentioning that, and that just got my blood to boil, because first of all, who are you to decide which is what? And then second of all, I thought that was very disrespectful to all the people that put so much work into their platform and to their launch, and bring people. Of course, you have to ask from a business perspective. We've discussed this. How much value do indie makers bring to them? But I think financially, of course, not as much as a VC backed company that can pay for their advertisements. But the noise and the awareness they get from indie maker launches is a lot bigger usually, right?
I can't agree more with that. Uh, I think my vision of the future and their vision of the future, they not align. I think they think that the indie makers are very small and they will maybe disappear. What I think is that it's not about the size of of the community; it's about their how active they are. And if you look at the VC funded community, it's not an active community. Like if you look at all the things happening on Product Hunt, like the comments, the good ratings, even the ratings, like most ratings, the real feedbacks done, they come from indie makers. From like 1% of the population, you get like maybe 30% of all the activity, right? And if you remove them, then the party may turn so boring that nobody's dancing. They turn off the music, right? Because others are sitting on the tables just drinking champagne, while indie makers are dancing on the dance, thing. So actually imagine that
Yep,
whole
yeah.
thing while saying,
But I also agree with you because there is a difference between building a business plan and the side of the company, and then there is a difference between building a public image of the company. And I think that's where the indie makers play a big role for product hunt. And just as you said, when you look at the product hunt, when you look at the discussions and activity and where it's coming from the community. And this community can be even, or I mean, I don't see the problem in expanding the community in their eyes or building the community, but there should definitely be a person who is doing that. And then there should be definitely a business plan in order to do so because they have opportunity for both. But anyway, tell me more about your business plan.
I'll just add last thing to the Product Hunt discussion and go on to the your question. Like, I think we should be also aware that partly what they say is true, and we should accept that too. That we sometimes launch stuff that doesn't look like a real product, right? I've done that too. Like, some products have, serious effort put into that, and some is like a Notion template made in 1 hour, right? Like there is large gap there, and that's why I think what he was trying to say isn't totally wrong. It's wrong to say that indie makers are making shit products. That's wrong to say. But it's not wrong to say that people are making shit products, not just indie makers, but in general, there are founders from all over the communities who launch, low effort products. But if you look at Reddit, right, or other places, what happens with low effort, articles? People don't upvote them. So I agree that it's it's a good point, but community will decide. And why would low effort product actually go up? Maybe because they are cheating, but then solve the cheating.
Yeah, exactly. What makes you decide what is a good product? I mean, when you see the product, you can definitely, when mentioning like Notion pages or whatever, or just using that metaphor to describe a bad product, yeah, for sure. But then you have also founders with real products that invested their time and effort in building not only the product, but also investing time and effort in building their story about around product hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't get featured and
Yeah, yeah. I
published
mean,
there. So
I'm running
it's
Dev
like,
Hunt, right? So I'm having similar issues on Dev Hunt, and some products are just, something that doesn't even work. You go to the website, it doesn't open, right? Some products are great, and I had cases where bad products, by bad I mean you open the website and it's just not aligned. Things are like not looking like a finished stuff, and they have a lot of votes, right? And then what we did is we asked people to add social media handles to their profiles, and by the rule of Product Hunt, you have to be real on social media to vote. If you're not, sorry, some people don't have social media, but what can we do? How can we check you? We're not going to have a Zoom call with you. And then we just look at all the voters and we see the people who are not real. They put fake handles there, and we remove the votes, and it's clear. You open the whole thing, everybody knows how it works, and then we remove this problem. So I think the key problem they have to solve that they don't put as a key problem is quality of votes, remove cheaters, remove fake votes, remove accounts which are not real, and it is going to solve bad quality products going to the top most likely. It's better than just having a moderator deciding on the product,
yeah,
because
but
then they
then
can fool the
daily active
moderator.
user will drop.
I mean, you can fool the person. That's the problem. The problem of totalitarian systems is that you know the rules and you can play by the rule and go up. And usually that rule means that you do something that's good for the moderator, not good for the user. How to fool the moderator? Well, make beautiful website. Does that mean that you have amazing product? No, it doesn't mean, right? So it's slippery slope, right? So that's why my recommendation, if they're watching this, work way harder on quality of upvotes and let the people decide. Remove the feature function completely, so that if you have votes, you go up. Bad votes, remove the votes, but don't kind of decide for people. And then
I mean, just, yeah.
uh, yeah, I just wanted to finish the product hunt and go to your next question about my business plan. But you can add something you wanted to add, or
No,
okay,
please continue. Please continue. Yeah, I
yeah.
can.
So I don't have business plan. I have the vision, and my vision is to help the indie making community to win not 1%, but 20% of the market, which is like now we have less than 1%. I say one because it's the smallest number, right? But in reality, we're having 0.01% of the market, maybe even less, right? And I think this can go up to 10 to 20%, and it's possible, and there are things to do for that, and I'm doing some of them, and I have other ideas to do around that. Like I had the talk with Dagobert today, and I say that like you and me, Dan, are already doing some cross marketing, and I think all indie makers have to be very open for all cross marketing because it will help all of us. And now I feel, I have to be honest, I feel indie makers are very slow on that. We should be much more open. We should be like way more open on that, because otherwise we're like, it's a typical story where there are like many small kingdoms, and then like big enemy comes and
Mm.
destroys every small kingdom because they're like separated. Same thing here.
Well, if I can just add that um, this might find you might find it funny, but actually I have prepared a business plan for you. And yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah, 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 yeah. We make this show extremely professional. So I decided to make a business plan for you and to fix all of these problems that you mentioned. So if you allow me to share my screen, we can jump in it immediately if you guys agree.
Is this also
Go
a
ahead.
proposition for me? Can I invest in this or?
Then stop with the money.
Oh, sorry. It's for John. Sorry. Yeah,
Go
let's go.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I can pivot back. I mean, I came from VC world. I can go back. Why not? All
So
right.
it's very
Oh,
simple.
let's go. Let's go.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
crystal clear. Yeah.
Excellent, because John, you mentioned this brilliant idea at some point, but I have to tell you, I thought it about earlier. But now our paths have collapsed.
Wait. Did you just say John is a copycat of your
Uh,
idea?
Never, I would say never something like that. Anyway, moving on. Indie Maker Village in Switzerland. Of course, it's going to be in Switzerland. Anyway, community and collaboration. Our village will provide spaces for collaboration, workshops, meeting rooms, blah, blah, blah. That's not important. Look at these people. I
Look how
mean,
happy they are. Oh my
look
god.
at it. Anyway, so we are in Switzerland. It's next to the lake. We bring all the amazing indie makers. I don't know, can you see this one and this one? This one is sitting on the tree and working. I mean, it's just brilliant. This
I
is
hope
Is
the
that
tree
an
is
Mark.
MR?
flat.
That's an MRR chart right there.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. This is Mark when he came back from Asia to Europe. Look at him.
Yeah, he
He's
gained
so
some weight, by the
happy.
way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Money, what can you do? There is me and Dan looking over the things right here in this balloon, because we want to keep our village safe. There is a plane crash. This usually means that someone of Indie Maker will be out from the village because their launch
So we're
was so
celebrating
bad.
now, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We are a little bit in
More
shock,
space.
but yeah. Look at these charts. It's all going up, up, up. It's beautiful to look at it. One more thing I want to
Product market fit in that chart right there. PMF. Yeah.
PMF, absolutely, Dan. And I just want to say, if you join our village, you can even work with your feet in the water. It's very important for me to have that ability. This is not it. This is just the first slide. Moving on.
Wait, there's
So
more slides.
yes, yes. So I did some calculations. Co-working and communal facilities, 1.5 million. Then prepare the link, please. Initial operational
I have the link
costs,
ready. I have the link ready. Yeah.
thank you. Initial operational cost, 1 million. Total estimated cost, 11.5. But John, I wanted to make in dollars, so it's a little bit easier than in euros. But anyway, we are doing this because look at the money we are making in this village. Look at this. Look at the mountains. Look at the people enjoying. Look at this. Look at this. Looking at this big, big.
Wait,
Anyway,
what's happening with that? Yeah, what's
so
doesn't seem like this is working out for everybody or what's
this
going.
I
is
think
6 months
somebody is
after.
presenting their MRR somewhere on the billboard.
Anyway,
I actually
so
see it behind.
so moving is, but anyway, these people have just arrived. They're still enjoying the indie village. These guys have been in for the 6 months. Um, this is Mark. Anyway, so I just want to sell these benefits for indie makers to the village. Affordable living and working spaces, very important. Access to supportive community. I'm the most supportive person ever. I will be the one welcoming you to the village and showing you around.
Preparing the goat cheese.
Go cheese on me. opportunities for collaboration. I love collaborating.
Just where I talked about, yeah. I mean, it
Exactly.
just aligns perfectly with my vision.
I know,
Uh,
John. I know.
Today,
Actually,
but I after this post I made on Twitter that went viral, I had guys from Turkish ministry actually offering me land and asking for the,
Are you
uh,
serious? Are you serious?
yeah, like 80 hectares and offering the help. So I have to send them the business plan. So
no, you have
can
a
you
business plan?
send?
Oh,
Well,
did you send
can
it
I
already?
borrow?
Yeah,
Can
can
I
you just
borrow?
use this one instead?
I mean, I will just write little notes down there that replace Switzerland with Turkey. The rest kind of is just where I want it.
Exactly.
Especially this one. Yeah,
Wait, there are
it's
more
perfect.
slides. Sandra, how long is this presentation? John has his sixth phone call right in a few minutes, I think. Do you have more slides for us?
I mean, you never told me how long it has to be, so I went wild and crazy. I'm just kidding. But wait, don't go, don't leave yet. Next steps, please. So, next steps, including planning, fundraising, and development phases. I guess you are already doing that with the Turkish government.
Yeah,
So,
fundraising is basically done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, if you need any help, I'm here for you. I can maybe ask Finland to invest some money as well. But anyway, I wanted, so this is the village. This is how the village actually looks like. There
Actually,
is 25
beautiful.
houses, and we have spaces for 11,000 indie makers. You take
All right.
15% for from each MRR. To get to the indie
How
village,
much? How much?
15%, but to get into indie village, they have to at least have 2,000.
Okay, so 2000
Yeah.
MRR and you can live there for free?
Oh, then nothing in life is for free, but I haven't thought about it yet. Anyway, um, contact information, they
You
can
really have more slides. That's incredible. Oh, wow.
contact information. This is going going kind of whoa. Anyway, contact information, all the information are with me. The money you want to send by include the housing, equipment, fridges, everything. You can send the money to me as well. Everything else
Air
is on John.
fryers. Yeah, yeah. What
Yes,
about
yes,
CO2 monitors?
yes, absolutely. I mean, you cannot work
We
with two
don't need
monitors.
monitors.
We don't need. Who cares?
Well,
I
the
mean,
air is going to be very high quality. It's Swiss air, so
yeah. And I just want to showcase that. Look at these people vibing. They're touching the grass as well at some point.
Why do
Um,
they look
ah,
like they're 100 years old? Like,
yeah.
is that
It's
that's the
because
future of indie
yeah, you
makers?
never want
That's the
to
future.
leave. You wanna grow old in Indie Village, I think. That's
yes. So once you go into indie village, it's very hard to get out. So I just wanted to show a realistic picture of what's gonna happen.
But I have okay, so I think we got him with this one, Sana. We didn't get him with Cron Tool. Like I don't I'm keep checking my emails, but he didn't buy that. But this one's a sell for sure. Interesting observation with getting old, and then this is something I feel myself is as I'm getting old, I feel like my productivity and stamina is declining. It's not, noticeable from day to
Yeah.
day. Do you feel this? Are you afraid of this? Because some days I think I'm terrified because it's all in the past. My days where I could pull 16 hours of work and so on. How about you?
Well, you kind of touched the thing. Yeah. Like when I compare myself today and when I was 25 or 23, it's like different people. Like the amount of work I could do back then and now, it's very different.
Mm.
But I think that's a good thing because there's a reason why all rich people are not young. Like, don't believe the tech crunch. Like the reality is that you are 47 when you kind of make a million. That's the real number. And I think when I remember myself working when I was 25, I would be often doing things because I was stubborn. Like I would do something wrong way and not stop and not question myself that is that even needed in the first place. I would never do that because I had so much energy. And now I have so little energy that every time I started something, I ask myself like a minute after, maybe I don't have to do it. Maybe there is a way to stop doing it, avoid it. Maybe there is a way to shorten the task. And it's almost never the case that I can't find a way to do that. And if you get used to that, eventually you become more productive. And the thing that is the most important, once you're very productive, you are more creative because productivity and innovation goes together. Usually to do something, like you can get from A to B, from like New York to London in 5 hours, and you get there in 5 hours because the transportation productivity has grown. It didn't grow because we just bit the horse really hard so it runs really fast from A to B. We come there because it was difficult. We had to invent a new way that's 100 times better. And I think like that's something very important. Like every product has to kind of have that mindset, and the founder, like how can I do things 100 times faster, like task by task. And eventually, like you get high motivation for that when you're, I would say, lazy, or when you're feeling like you don't want to work the whole day, the whole evening. So people think I work a lot, and there's something, the confession to make on this show. I don't work a lot. I work
What?
not that
You
much.
Make me
I
no,
feel
no,
I
no,
good
no,
mean,
no,
about
no.
myself.
all right. Look at my real average day. So I wake up at 10, and I spend at 10 a.m. and I spend 3 hours in the garden playing with kids, rabbits, grass, building something.
Okay, I need to go. I cannot see.
Yeah. And
It's okay, I'm here.
the real hours I work a day are like maybe 6 hours when I sit and work, and 4 hours where the work is done somehow. I mean, like I answer DM, I reply in a comment, I take shower and I think about something, and that's work as well. But it's not like I'm working like guys in the movies where I wake up in 6 o'clock, I work to the night, and if I have friends coming over, I stop working and go play with friends or like grill with friends. So that's it happens every day.
I mean, you definitely found your balance and like how to keep up with all of these things. I think that's super important. I think sometimes we think that we are working and
Yeah.
we want to believe that we are working, but actual work, like actual work, is not put there. I caught myself multiple times doing that, where I spend more time thinking about the work than actually working. So,
Or we create problems for ourselves. I don't want to advertise my products now, but I built some of my products just
Please,
because.
please do it.
All right, so some people spend time building their landing page with hands,
go.
right? With
Yeah.
fingers. All right, you do it
He's good.
fast.
He's good.
You do it fast. It's no problem. The first landing page is out quickly. But you're not in utopia. So tomorrow you get feedback about something, or you see other stuff, you want to change the page, and now you have to go through the cycle again. But then the worst thing comes. Like suddenly you want to integrate your page with some SEO generated tool, for example, like a SEO bot, for example. And it won't come out of the box. You have to connect that thing. You have to write code for that thing, etc. So basically, what I say is that the reason people spend a lot of hours on work is that they don't save their time and they don't pay to buy it back. Like I just talked to a guy. He's a very good guy. He's almost like a friend of mine now. Now he's like has many followers, and he's listening to this, and I didn't tell this to him, but he will hear it now. So he says that he doesn't want to use one tool because it costs $100 a month, and he will do it with hands. And like I'm calculating in my hand, in my brain, like how many hours a week he will spend for doing it versus $100. And then look, and it's not one thing. Like basically, almost everything you do could be bought back if you pay something, uh, and you save time, right? And I think developers like Dunn, they have proclivity to actually do more with their own hands because they love building, they love solving problems with their heads. The first reason why they do what they do is because they love the building process, right?
While
Yeah.
And
you
I
are
have so little
talking,
time. I love it too, but I have no time for it. I have lots of children, lots of friends, lots of things to do, so I have no choice. I have to pay for it.
John, are
um,
you aware that you've been shortlisted for top 3 largest button on the internet for Unicorn platform? It's a very prestigious award.
Yeah.
How how did you arrive at this? And like, I love this. The website is really. I want to build my website right now, to be honest. But how many iterations did you use? Analytics, how A/B testing? How did you get to this? And are you
it's
the type of guy that obsesses with this?
it's really easy. So basically, every day I kept adding 1 pixel on width and height for the button, and I looked at conversion, and it was growing. The bigger I made, the more signups I get per visitors, and I kept doing that until the day when that stopped happening.
Started to go in the reverse direction. Right. This is the
Yeah, I mean, it
best
just stopped happening
story.
in one day. I'm not kidding. It's reality. It's
You're
funny,
like,
but
I
it's
think this is revenge for the lemon squeezy link. I think he's just messing with us right now.
you'll see buttons becoming bigger and bigger.
Right, John, do you have your
try
next?
that.
Do you have your
Try
next?
that. Like, increase button size for all your sign up call to actions, and just look at that. If it doesn't work, well,
I
you tell
don't
me.
believe. I don't believe it for a second. John, I don't want to keep you because you have your next call in just a couple of minutes. Is that correct?
Well, I have moved one of my calls,
Can
and
we keep
it's
going because I'm on for going. I don't want to. I'm having
let's
such a
let's
blast.
see if they actually accepted my change.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
3 hours ago, I asked Gabriela to
Dan, can
reschedule,
you
but
make the buttons bigger on Morning Maker Show like right now?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, try that.
yeah. I'll go for that. Uh, I think depending on John's schedule now, I will ask him one thing or another. So let's see what happens. But to be honest, I did I did look at his website. It's such a source of inspiration for me, and I know he's looking at the conversion very closely. I mean, we all do, but I've seen it change. This looks different to me already, but I
Oh, it
go here
changes a
every
lot.
now and then. Yeah,
It changes a lot,
it changes a
and
lot.
it will change more. So I do A/B testing. So I found a new version that works better. So I will change it next week or this week. It will change.
But
What I found is that you have to move up certain things that speak about the actual stuff that can be built here. So I tested that one day and it was better.
so I mean these ones here, right?
No. The
On the other
the
page.
templates. The
Oh,
templates.
the templates,
People
the
want to see
templates.
templates. Yeah. So
Okay,
now they're
okay.
far down. I try to talk about things built on the platform, but people want to see the templates they can use to build their stuff
Yeah.
rather than what others built there. So I have to, and now
Yeah.
it's not even here the templates. You see.
No, it's not there. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even.
But
Is it in
I
the
change it
showcase?
every
No,
day and I
don't.
record the conversion.
Yeah,
It has many users, so basically, if you have a lot of visitors, the
it's
numbers are
easy.
very
Yeah,
yeah. It's stable number. It just doesn't change unless you change something. It's more
yeah,
difficult if you have fewer users.
yeah.
Uh,
What
it,
do you have now? 130,000. What is the number?
yeah, yeah. It was that, but now it's more. So it's a lot. It has grown like it has
Imagine getting
quadrupled.
all those people in one room. How would that be?
Yeah,
A
I'm thinking
lot of
about that.
hugging.
A lot of hugging. I don't think they can fit in
I will do one
individuals.
thing now, which is strange. So I will launch my other meeting, and because they didn't reply for my rescheduling, and if they appear in the room, I will switch. If they don't, we
Yeah,
just go on.
fair enough. Well, while you switch, we might lose you. We might lose
No.
you any
Yeah,
moment. But
we might. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
No, it says no one is here, so I will be watching if it says like If it
Good,
takes 2 minutes
good,
and he doesn't come,
good.
then
Because
we
I
accept.
have time. I have time. It also feels like I'm just hanging out with a friend. I know Sandra probably feels the same. We're super chill, super relaxed. It it might as well be that one day we'll be in the same room and do the exact same thing. I think it's awesome. But right now I
Yeah.
want to put you in a very uncomfortable position. So
Yes.
you have a very busy schedule, and I think you didn't go on podcasts for a long time. How long was it?
How long was it? What? Because I didn't hear that part.
When when did you last go on podcasts and
Oh,
interviews?
1 hour ago to the Dagobert,
And
and
before that,
then
and before that,
uh, an hour before that, and before that, an hour
and
before
before
that.
that. So this is
Yeah,
your
Oh
sixth,
my God,
fifth.
it was.
This is your
fifth.
fifth.
Yeah,
Yes.
fifth.
All right.
But
So
the best thing, it was nothing was kind of same. Like with the guy, the Solus podcast guy, we talked about the founder village. We talked about developers, open
Excuse
source.
me?
what? That's
What did you
does
say?
did he pay
Oh, all right.
royalties
Oh,
for
we talked
this?
about that too. Sorry. Yeah, and then
Founder village.
I can't
it
believe we
was
talked
different
about
one.
the same.
It was
Yeah, I
different
think it
one,
was different. Yeah,
not the
yeah.
one
Did
from
he give
Switzerland.
you a business plan?
No, 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 no.
The
Lemon
full-on
squeezy link.
presentation?
Okay, okay, let's just cut to the chase. So you have a nice schedule. I have no idea why Alexander Izora got so much time with you. I'm a bit jealous, but that's fine. I think we're kind of catching up on that.
Hmm.
No, no,
So
no. This thing is much taller, so I had to shrink because some meetings are 2 hours and it didn't fit into the screen. So I had to go to the editor and shrink them into
yeah,
shorter
okay,
meetings so that it
okay,
fits in.
okay. I see. It's like these people do with the MRR charts where they just shrink the periods. So you,
Up.
so it
Or,
seems like a
you
hockey
know,
stick.
yeah, yeah. Not the period. You just make the window smaller. The smaller you make, the upwardy it is. I do that
Yeah.
with Google Search Console. It works all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anything
It
goes
looks
up if
more
you squeeze it.
impressive. Exactly. If
Yeah.
you squeeze the window enough, everything looks like a hockey stick. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I actually have time. So the guy doesn't come 3 minutes past. I think they
Yeah.
didn't accept the new meeting, so
But
that's
let's
okay.
let's cut to the chase. So solos. David, Hensel, Saba, Tihi, Dagobert, of course. Um, you only have 5 seconds to reply to my next question. Which was the best show you've participated in today?
The bus show?
Three, two, one.
There wasn't. Ah, all
Yep.
right. This is a show. This is not a podcast. True. Of course, it was the best and the only show I've been on today. The morning show. The morning show, which is the night show for
Ca-
me. But
Can
it's
it
actually morning.
can it be a more diplomatic answer than this?
It
Because
was brilliant.
yeah, he totally nailed it. You could so John, you could be president any day with this answer, no problem.
In our
Uh, I,
village, we know who's the
I had an
president.
exercise with this. I had an exercise, my post about Turkey versus Portugal. If you go to the comments, I almost started a war between two countries there. So it was
I've
dangerous.
seen that, but why do you think is that? Why is there so much passion around this topic?
I'm asking you, like, I don't know why. I still don't understand why the yellow filter on the Turkish image actually, created so much hate. A lot of people hated that yellow filter. And I got it from ChatGPT. I don't know why ChatGPT made it. It looked good.
Wait, time out. I want to see that post. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
You've missed it.
I've
It blew.
missed
Oh yeah, it completely
it
blew
is
up.
really big. It's like 2 million or
Okay, let me
1.5
just
million
check.
views. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is the
2.4.
biggest thing that came out of indie making world this month, probably.
Is this the post that got the most views in general that you have ever done? Or
No, I had a post with 5 million views. And
All right.
I was banned after that post because I replied to Elon Musk saying that he will ban opposition in Turkey for something like that, and I said something about freedom of speech, and people in Turkey reposted that. Half of the Turkey did it probably, and then the
Wow.
post was removed, and I was removed from Twitter for 1 week.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So that was was it? Did you already have a following at the time?
yeah. So people kind of helped me to get back. Like
I
I
think I
had
remember. Yeah, I think I
3,000. Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were part of it as well.
Yeah,
It
but I
was
didn't know
in
why.
May.
I didn't know why. But was it terrifying for you that you could lose your Twitter account at that point?
It's still terrifying. Every day I open Twitter and then something goes wrong and I get error. I feel like, oops, like did I get muted or whatever? Yeah,
Then
so it is
move the.
terrifying.
I wanna read. I wanna read.
Oh, that was a scrolling
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking
gesture. I was,
she's trying to bring emoji. If you do that, the emoji comes.
yeah. I was thinking, is it about time to end? What's going on? Yeah,
She's
it's
like, ah.
yeah. But okay, yeah,
Yeah. So it's
nice.
terrifying. But what I'm doing now is that I'm building up my newsletter. I'm building up LinkedIn. I have 10,000 people there, which is kind of good because on LinkedIn, the not the quality, but the power of people is higher because on Twitter there are more people who just chill out.
Mm.
On LinkedIn, people actually take things seriously. So I'm building more followers on other platforms just to have to hedge the risks. If I get kicked out of one platform, I go to the other one and
Mm.
say I'm kicked out. Please do something. Help me, please. Or even if I don't get back, at least I have the other one. But it is terrifying sometimes. I try to
Mm.
not think about that. It's as terrifying as the fear of death.
I fully agree with you. But one question. Um, I'm sorry, Dan. But you are really passionate about this. Like, I mean, I know we looked at my business strategy for the Indie Maker Village, but it seems like you are choosing a place and
Do you?
contacting.
Yeah, you really want to build this? It's not a joke. You
Oh,
want
it
to
was not a
create this.
joke, of course. I almost got killed for this tweet, so it's definitely not a joke. I
Not
literally had
anymore.
people
No.
sending me DMs saying that they will find and rip me off and things like that. But my plan is real, and I had this plan for many years, and I wanted to start with this. That's why I came to Turkey, and I was trying to build a little MVP of this because, like in Norway, that would cost me a fortune, and
Mm.
nobody wants to travel to Norway for more than 1 week in summer.
True.
And
Fair.
and I tried, and it worked. So I had little version of it running in Turkey years ago. Like 20 people would come in, and they loved spending time here. And
Mm.
now, I bet on the idea that indie makers will take over the world, and that's why I see a problem. Like the other thing you mentioned, that productivity is dropping because we have a lot of distractions. That's why I think most makers will actually start failing. Soon we will see large burnout
Mm.
epidemic. We see it today, by the way. It started happening. I predicted that a while back, and it's happening now. It will happen more. This is just a start. It will be way worse because the conditions are not changing. Like, how
Oh
can you
yeah.
solve a problem if conditions are the same? You can't solve it. Like, you're getting wet because you have no roof. You're gonna get wet again. And I think best solution for this is to actually build a place that will let you disconnect. Because if I disconnect from Twitter, I will be lonely now. Like the only people I talk to are in Twitter, right? But if we have a place where I'm not lonely and people are building stuff, and it's kind of, you feel like everyone is building, I want to build as well. Like that will be a very productive place for makers. And I want to build one place, show that this actually works. It's great, and then I want to get others to build the same place everywhere in the world, like hundreds of these places.
Why do you think that, let's say, YC didn't do that already, or they are already doing it in some
Oh,
ways?
they're doing that for VC-backed startups, so we see that
Yeah.
model working. Why do they have they have one batch that had a remote model.
Yeah.
it was the worst batch ever, right? So they went back to the in person only. You can't be remote anymore. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
same with education. Like you go to university, people are grinding, and you do it with them. I think for indie makers, that's super important, and also the connections you make when you see people in real life are different. Suddenly, you actually cheer for each other because I feel like the social connections from Twitter, like now we see each other, it's better now, better than when we just chat. But if you see each other in person and you drink beer together and you build little pond and you do some work together because I want to have the work there to do as well, so that you're not bored, you're sitting on a computer and then you're just drinking beer. But I want to add real maker work. You can build house, you can build chair, you can plant vegetables together, and I think it will kind of create bond, and we will become like a distributed army that will just there is no chance to stand against us.
I love this vision. I love this
Take
vision.
me.
John, I think I wanted you to buy some things this show, but it might turn out that I will invest in your idea by the end of it.
I'm actually planning to raise money for this. So I'm not gonna raise money for products, but I want to raise money for this, not as an investment, but I want to do pre-sale of the days. So I want to sell like one day cost X dollars, and you can buy as many days as you want. Once it's launched, you have those days you can spend there, or you can refund whenever you want. So I want to do that and see what's the interest.
But like you said that you were running a smaller project. I want to know like how did you manage to, because I can imagine it working like with just simple few Airbnbs being next to each other in some rural I hate English
Area, yeah.
area. Um, and then just selling the tickets and selling the experience of those few days. Does it have to be a complicated thing to test out and see how it's going to work? Like what's stopping you right now for from running the MVP on maybe a little bit higher scale?
Yeah, I think that model has been tested already, both by
Mm,
me and others. So there is no
mm,
reason to test it again.
mm.
People love getting together. People love having these boot camps. This model works. There,
Yeah,
there are people making millions on this. But my goal is not to make millions on this. My goal is to actually make a place where makers make millions. And if they
yeah.
make millions, I'm one benefiting too. I have to be honest. I'm supplying makers with the tools, and if they are successful, I'm successful. Nobody is more interested in makers succeeding than me. Nobody, because that's
Give me
my
the
future.
link, John.
Where's the payment link? I have everything ready.
What have happened then? We did not expect this.
It's quite the twist, but then again, that's our brand at this point. I think we expect Mark Liu to come in any moment now and say he's into the village. I think he actually said if there is a place to surf that he's in. I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, and the Portugal is one of the best places to surf. So, I mean, I looked at all the parameters, and
All
it
the
seems perfect
options.
for everyone. Yeah, and also, there's other thing that I like. There are a lot of indie makers now all over the world, in developing countries like Argentina, for example. And for them, they can come here, they can stay here, and in 5 years they get good passport. Right? And that's happening already. Like they moved to Lisbon. There is no community. They're like looking at Facebook, finding friends, and friends are strange. They leave, they come. But here, it's a real community. So I want to have all three models. So some people are gonna stay there permanently for up to 5 years, and there's demand for that. I know people who will come. I already have the list, by the way, of like hundreds of people who will come. And then the other group is the short, like midterm stay, people who come there for kind of an incubation. They come for 3 months to change, you know, to be in the mood of building stuff, to have no distraction. And the only distraction is that the evenings are social, you have fun, but otherwise you don't have to be on the internet because internet is for social, but you have social stuff around. And then short stays where people come there for hackathons, weekends, little conferences we run, the maker show that you're gonna run there every morning.
Is that part
Yeah.
of the plan? Did you make a small room for us?
uh, yeah, right in the middle, the early morning show, and the because it will be like a circle. The large circle is long term, mid term, short term, and then in the middle, you two are sitting on a round table, and there is a spot for a third person.
It, perfect. It's very funny, and you've just confirmed this throughout the show that indie makers are really bad at waking up early. So when we used to do the show at 8 a.m., there was a ghost town,
Was it only the
and
two of you?
yeah, no one else. We got some people from Australia, and it was evening for them, but otherwise. So yeah, and you just confirmed you get up at 10 a.m. So I think that checks out. It's a bit too late to rebrand it to Afternoon Maker Show because we have the domain and all the backlinks. It's a bit tough.
Well, no, it is not. Uh, I changed domain like no index
Yeah,
rusher. It was index Google,
yeah,
and I changed the domain, and it took me 2 weeks to,
to get back up to
restore.
speed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the domain rating grows and everything comes there. So just it's a problem if
Ke-
you're huge, if you have
yeah,
billions of links, but
yeah, yeah.
so you can go for night
I
maker
mean,
show.
we're
I mean,
we're we're somewhere in between CNN and BBC, but I think that should be fine.
exactly. Exactly. I wanted to say, like, it's so nice to see this level of passion to the community. I mean, we share something similar every morning maker show. We tend to find great makers and products and, share their story. But you definitely went few steps ahead with building a village of brilliant people just building their stuff. So, it's really nice to see how much someone cares. Yeah.
I also want to be among these people, and that's a big reason too. I just there wasn't a maker I haven't had fun, having chat with. Very
Mm.
few, like maybe five, I don't like, but the rest I like.
One, two,
They're
give me
not in
three,
this room.
three.
They're not in this room. And I start liking them now too. By the way, I see that they're a little bit strange, but maybe they're just strange. They're like there
Yeah,
are some strange things in people, but they're good people, good heart.
yeah, yeah.
Sure
But would you
thing.
hug them?
Oh, that's not true yet. So I keep opening their faces every day just to the more you see the person, the more you like the person because you remember the face. So I'm just working on that every day with five of them. Just I have them on the background here, by the way,
Oh yeah,
on my screen. Yeah.
that's pretty. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Back to what you said. The more you see the person, I think we lost a lot of that during the pandemic with being
Mm,
more isolated from each other. And now I just realized that the YouTube thing might also be because of that, because we're just more and more
Yeah.
separated, and we need this connection to someone
mm.
else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I love this. I feel so
YouTube.
inspired. I'm gonna go and dream about Indie Village, and tomorrow.
I just have one question. Will there be a burnout quarantine zone in the indie village?
Well, it's easy to make one. You just make a place there without internet and gadgets. It, there is no burnout if you don't have that. So, but honestly, I want to make it a place where you don't need computer for anything else except the work. Because now you work in a day and you have the leisure time with your computer again after work. Most of
Mm,
us do that, right? And that's the best way to kill yourself because it's the same activity. You think it's different, but it's the same. And then it's easier to do fun stuff on the computer than the work. So then
mm.
tomorrow you start working and your brain is like, let's go do the easy stuff that we did yesterday night. Because it's the same computer, the same setup. You use it for the same thing.
Just one question. I'm sorry. We're not gonna let you go so easily. Just
Oh,
last one.
now
Or
I
maybe
have
there's 10 more.
time until the morning because the
In
meeting
the
canceled.
Indie Village, do we have marketing weeks?
Marketing weeks. Uh,
I mean, building great products is absolutely amazing, but what
yes,
then?
yes. I think,
Yeah.
y- the way I want to do it is like in a real village. So in a real village, there is very high concentration of work on one task. So basically, when you have to cut grass, the whole group comes and cuts the grass. Then you
Mm.
have to plant potatoes. The whole group comes and plants potatoes. That's how villagers have their life, right? Like they have invented that, and we don't have to invent something new. So I think the whole model here will be that we have one activity, and we do it all together, and while we do it all together, we actually see how others are doing, because there's nothing less effective than education when you listen to theory and you have to apply it 3 years from now when that's relevant, right? But there is nothing better than seeing others do what you have to do on their product and mimicking. If you were in school and you had assignment, what did you do? You always ask, how did you do that? Show me your
Yeah,
report
and
or your paper.
I copied
Yeah, they
what they
changed the
did.
name and text. Yeah. So same thing here. It just works. We all did that.
One more question, and then Dan can decide. But how do we measure the success of the indie village?
MRR of the residents, traffic on their websites. So I think we can have analytics for the combined group
Mm.
and watch it.
That's like Mark Lou's leaderboard, right? Pretty much, but
Yeah,
just for the village. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Actually, what Mark Liu does is great for the village. So I hope he joins this idea too, because he's very good at being so happy and energetic and be the community guy. I'm better at strategy and predicting the world and planning stuff, but not at that thing.
We have him in our pocket. It's a done deal. Just say the word and he's
All
gonna
right.
do it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
It's
counting on him then.
it's a sealed deal. All right, Sandra, please let's do one last thing, and then, as much as I would like to keep John, it's getting dark, and I think we have building to do tomorrow morning. Back to
Big
work.
button.
Big. I have to increase the pixels on at least 6 projects on my buttons. So shoot it, Sandra.
Ladies and gentlemen, indie makers of this community, thank you for staying with us almost 2 hours. You can watch this episode on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can read all about this in our great newsletter. And see you in the indie village, I guess.
Let's do this. See you in the indie village. John, thank you so
all
much.
10,000 of you, right? Thank you for inviting me. It's like I love these talks, and I don't like doing talks too often, but I'm in for stuff once every few months. So, like in a few months' time, if you have something
Oh, we're
interesting to talk
booking. We're
about,
booking you.
yeah,
We're booking you. Just
yeah,
because I like to have a cozy chat with you. Actually,
yeah,
I'm beginning to think I don't really care what I'm talking with you. It's just very nice to see you and to have a talk. So, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you. Great to learn more about your stuff. And I hope you had a bit of fun with us.
I did. Thanks.
And you are absolutely brilliant. But I don't
Thank
think
you.
I need to tell you that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Lovely people. See you in the next episode. And John, one more time, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.